So I'm going to bring up a CSV file that I've already created, and I'll show you how it works and how you can create your own. This Google Doc, which is a Google Sheet, is the equivalent of an Excel file for Microsoft or Numbers for the Mac. But the reason that I'm using Google Docs is because it's free, and anyone with a Google account can use it for free. So you will notice that this sheet contains people's names, their titles, emails, website, phone number, address, and state. The way that I created this Google Sheet is by making sure that the first line, line number 1, has the same lowercase names that we use when we define the layers in Photoshop. Name, title, email, website, phone, address, and state. Then you can simply add the information accordingly. So before we bring this into Photoshop, I want you to notice that the names are different. There's different titles, different emails. The website is the same on all the users simply because it's the same company, different phone numbers, of course, different addresses. Maybe they have offices in San Francisco and New York, so the addresses will be different. And of course, you can download this file and follow along. But remember, the most important thing when you're creating your own CSV file is to make sure that the first line contains the names that you defined in Photoshop. Once you have your file completed, you can go into File and download it as a CSV, comma separated values. That is this one here. And I can just use the default name, Acme Sheets1.csv, click on Save, and I can go into Photoshop. And in Photoshop, I can go into Image, Variables, Datasets. Then you can go into Import, select the file, make sure that on this dropdown you select CSV so that the file appears, click on it, and click on Load. Make sure that you select Use First Column for Dataset Names and Replace Existing Datasets. Click on OK, and you'll notice now if you click on this dropdown, you'll have the names of all the people that were on that CSV file. I can click on somebody's name. Notice that the information changes on the value column and also on the business card. I can click on this arrow and you'll see that the information changes accordingly. Make sure that the preview button is checked. If it's not, you won't be able to see the changes on the actual business card. So check the preview box and you can see the different names. When you press OK, the names are going to disappear. If you want to see a preview of what a particular data set will look like, go into Image, Apply Dataset. From here, you can select the name of a data set. Make sure that the preview checkbox is on so that you could see it. And then you can click on Apply, and it will apply those changes to the business card. Now, you can save one business card at a time, but obviously that will be very time consuming. So instead, you can do a batch save. Go into File, Export, Datasets as Files. And this is going to bring up the Export Datasets as Files window. The first thing that you need to do is figure out where you're going to save your files. Click on Select Folders and choose a saving destination. Datasets is already selected for me, and that's where I want to save my file, so I do not need to search for a folder, but you probably will. Then we need to select what we want to save, all datasets or an individual person's business card. In this case, we want to do all of them. Then we got to select a file naming convention. So document name is the first part, then followed by a hyphen. So Acme BizCard, which is the name of the PSD, hyphen, which is what this is indicating, the dataset name. Alexandra McConnell will be the example, and the file extension will be a .psd. That is a Photoshop file, essentially a duplicate of the original template, only with the information of that specific person. Make sure that the compatibility with the Mac OS and Unix is selected and press OK. Photoshop is going to take a few seconds and it will export all the datasets as PSDs. If I open up my datasets folder, you will see all the PSDs that have been exported. This is the original one, Acme BizCard.psd. This is the comma separated values or the CSV file. And these are all the PSDs that we just exported. You can open any one of those and you will see that each PSD has the corresponding person's information.